Queens, welcome to In Real Time, the sassy, no-filter business podcast where we catch founders mid-pivot, mid-meltdown, and mid-magic. No polished stories, just raw, in-the-moment conversation about what it really takes to build something that matters. This is business, uncut, unpredictable, and happening in real time. So let's get into it. Okay, Katie, welcome to In Real Time.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I feel like it's like... I mean, you're one of my closest friends, so we're just going to be having mostly a chat, but it's so exciting to have you on. I feel like the fact that we've been able to link our times up.
So crazy.
Wild.
And also, like, what a little privilege. We often talk about business so much, but, like, what a privilege to actually have dedicated time to talk about it.
I know, like, so
no
good.
interruptions.
Okay, so Katie is the founder of Sabbia skincare brand on the Gold Coast. I want to start by running through a few of your successes and your, like, what you've achieved so far, and then we're going to jump into the question that we ask everyone. So Sabbia was officially launched September 2019.
Yes.
Correct? You launched with just 3 products.
Yeah.
Which is crazy to think about now with what you have as an offer.
Yeah.
And you've reached over 50,000 customers, which is crazy.
So amazing.
You've done a million more things than that we'll get into. But I feel like the fact that you started in 2019, all your products that you have, what you've achieved and where you are is crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It
very,
is
very
absolutely
grateful.
amazing. So what I like to do for every starting of every episode is ask you what you're moving through in real time at the moment.
Oh, my God. So much expansion right now. Like, I thought coming into our 7th year of business, like, I was on top of this. Like, we're always growing, we're always expanding. But these last 4 weeks, every single facet of my business has, like, 5x'd in ways that I could never have predicted. I've just come off maternity leave, like, rolled back in February, and I was like, okay, like, I'm feeling called to get back to work. I'm excited. And then just, the last 4 weeks has been, like, marketing, warehousing, manufacturing, like every single aspect has just exploded and needs me, which I think I've found quite difficult is having a whole year of not being needed and, like, finding myself in that, because that's also really hard to navigate no longer being needed in your baby that you've created.
100%.
To then coming back and being pulled from every possible direction.
And I also feel like it isn't like, you know, when you're in business and things happen step by step and little bit by little bit, I feel like it's hit you like a ton of bricks in terms of, like, it hasn't asked you to, like, step up in one way or change one thing or hire one staff or do – it's been every single thing in the matter of, like, 6 weeks has needed elevation.
Yeah, like, wild.
Insane.
So crazy.
But that comes down to the amount of growth you've had as well.
And also, like you and I both talk about, I have such an analogy that I think is really important as business owners to understand is when we are growing, it takes these periods where we have to, like, something, like, has to give or crumble or end to then build out the base of our foundation. Because if you're just building on, like, a square meter block, there's only so high you can go. But if you keep stopping building out the foundations, you get to, like, 10 square meters or 100 square meters, and it means you can, you know, become a skyscraper.
100%.
And I feel like that's, as much as it's been stressful, I'm really holding to that everything is just working. Like, the opportunities come, it feels expansive and stressful, but the solution's right there. So I'm just going with it because I know obviously I'm supported and, like, this is what I need to do, but it definitely doesn't make it easier.
It's so stretchy.
Yeah.
And I think even when you have been in it for 6-7 years, you know, you know that feeling of, like, when you have to take the stretch and it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
I think maybe, like, I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel like I'm more confident now in the fact of when something comes up where I'm like, is this a need to take, or is this, like, a wobbly, like, unsure? And I think all the steps that you've taken, they're, like, need to take. It's like you have to do it.
Yeah. And I think, like, the more intuitive and probably older I get, I know those decisions immediately.
100%.
Like, something happens and I'm like, yes or no, straight away, which makes it, so much easier to just move through and, like, accept
100%.
those days.
I want to go back to the very beginning. I feel like everyone wants to know, like, the story of business. And I think when I consume podcasts, I'm like, I want to know the nitty gritty. How did you do this? What does this look like? Blah, blah, blah. And I think the most question we all get asked as founders who are doing big things is like, well, how did you start and how did you do this? And how did you decide that you wanted to do that brand? So I would love for you to give us a bit of a rundown on why skincare? Like, how did you fall on skincare? And when people ask, like, how did you start? Like, what did you do? What were the steps? Like, what were the steps for you and Sabbia Co?
So I was in my early 20s when I moved to the Gold Coast for uni. I've lived up, like grown up with a very holistic lifestyle. My mum's Italian. Everything was made from scratch. I always was blessed with great skin, like a functioning, like never had issues with my body. And then I moved to the Gold Coast and I started partying and eating like bread and pasta from the shops, not homemade.
Yeah.
And my body just became really inflamed. My skin became inflamed. And I couldn't quite figure out why all of a sudden my skin had gone to shit, essentially.
Yeah.
I'd also come off the contraception pill, which obviously we know it adds to that as well. So in a personal journey, I started seeking, you know, how can I fix my skin? I'm 20. I want to feel good in my skin.
Yeah.
I was going to all sorts of chemical peels, all the things, like trying all the cosmeceutical active route, because I was like, well, you know, I need to like eat up the oil on my skin and like dry it out. Anyway, that ended up making it so much worse. And then I got to a point where I was working at a skin clinic doing content, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And I just loved my job. I was fascinated by the skin, and anytime the dermal girls were free, I would just quiz them, and I just wanted to understand the skin. And I ended up just studying alongside working there. I thought it would make my content better. I was so interested in like understanding the skin. And I was like, I don't believe what you're saying is true. I don't think adding more actives and like sizzling my skin is the solution.
That's the answer.
So I ended up at the time was also studying to be a yoga teacher, so like very holistic lifestyle. I started researching, you know, surely there's like Chinese medicine and like Ayurveda and natural remedies that can help my skin. And I just started playing around, like no idea what I was doing, making bits and pieces. I also lived with a naturopath at the time who had really bad skin, and we were kind of in this journey together of figuring it out. And that's when I started making potions, and all of a sudden my skin just started to look better and I felt better. And a lot of the people around me who had watched me struggle with my skin were like, what are you doing? How are you helping your skin? Even the girls at work were like, we know you're not buying the products here, so what's doing? And I was like, I'm just making my own stuff. And they thought I was crazy. And then that was around like, I guess 2 years before we started. I'd been on this like 2-year journey of fixing my skin. And then Dave, my husband, and I went to Sri Lanka on a surf trip. And I was hating my job at the time, and we just went on this break, and we got there, and it took us like 8 hours to get to this remote beach, and there was so much plastic. And growing up in Port Douglas, like diving the reef, it just hit me, and I was like,
heartbreaking.
This is awful. Like, where is like Q-tips, toothbrushes, all these personal care items? And the surf was huge, and I just ended up like taking a bag and picking up all the stuff on the beach. And I got, like, when we got home, it still had this sticky feeling in my belly of like, I hate my job. I love the planet. I love like protecting the planet. How can I do something with my life?
Bring it all together. Yeah.
And then I remember saying to Dave, like, what if we sell a face kit? And he was like, don't know what you're talking about. And in my journey of like learning all about the skin, I came across this beautiful Japanese ancient ritual. It's a plant called a cognac root.
Yes.
And it creates, when it's freeze dried, this beautiful natural cleansing and slightly exfoliating sponge that you use on your face with water.
Which Katie's just brought me, actually, everyone.
I got a pink one for you.
Pink one.
Exclusive.
Guys, Kaarme perfection, pink.
I know. But yeah, I started using that, and then I just felt like launching a skincare brand was fucking scary. Like,
like if you can do anything that requires probably the hardest of work, it is a skincare brand.
And being so young at the time too, like traditional skincare brand owners are older people, older men. It's a very heavy male-dominated area in the formulation space. And I just felt like, who am I to launch a skincare brand? So I kind of dipped my toes in with all of our sustainable tools. So we launched after a year of like research and development. We had 4 sustainable skin kits. We launched and we sold out in like 6 weeks. And it was crazy. I was still working my full-time job. Launch night, I should know the stats, but I have no idea how many sales we did. But it was just exciting. And in like 2 weeks' time, I had to quit my job because I was like, I can't physically do the packing of the orders, the content, the email, like dealing with customers. And I just remember saying to Dave, like, please just trust me. I'm going to quit my job. Can you just have my back for like 6 months? And then.
So I want to know, I need to know, like, what were the steps leading up to this launch? So back in 2019, there was Instagram, but it definitely wasn't as intense as what it is now.
No.
So what were your steps?
And I still think this step is really important and it can be applied to business today.
Yes.
For the first 6 months, I created an Instagram account. I shared skin tips, skin advice.
Yeah.
At the time, it wasn't really normal to document your journey. I wish, and if I was doing it again, I would 100% have done that. But at the time, I just focused on skincare education and like I think at the time, there wasn't anything like that on Instagram.
No.
Like it was all wishy-washy. There also wasn't like any natural skincare in the market.
It was a lot of clinical, and I think even like what I brought up with, I was personally brought up with was like the peels, and you had acne or like prepubescent acne, you get peels, or like my mum put me on Clinique at like 14. So it was that very different world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even too, like in the social media landscape, like there wasn't indie beauty brands. There wasn't young founders. I think in the clothing, like bikini space, we're starting to see brands like Lahana coming through and that was fun and exciting, but there was no self-care, skincare, supplement kind of brands. So I just spent a lot of my time dedicated to education and like asking questions and lots of polls and like interacting with my audience and being like, what are you looking for? So I think like 3 months before launch, I started to share like, okay, this is a cognac sponge. It's used for X, Y, and Z. So the day that launch came around, everybody knew what they were purchasing. They knew how to use it. There was like no consumer decision to be made. They had been like for 3 months waiting for this product. Yeah. Yeah. Which was like definitely not a strategy. It was just pure intuition.
Well, it's passion.
Passion.
It's
I'm
passion.
so excited
it comes back to when
bring
you
it.
launch something that you're passionate about. You want to share it. And I don't think like showing up, I don't want to say showing up isn't hard because it is, right? Like some people really have an aversion to it and I respect that.
Yeah.
But showing up about something you're passionate about is a lot easier than showing up about something that you're kind of like, man, I just want to make money.
And even at the time, I wasn't showing my face yet. I was just doing like online posts, like it was, what do they call it? Faceless.
Yes.
And then we launched and then we ordered.
Isn't that crazy? Like when you think about it in today's social landscape, that you did 3 months of faceless marketing and had that kind of land.
And then it was like still not another 3 months until after that I showed my face. And what had happened is we sold out unexpectedly.
Wow.
And it was coming in because we launched in September. Then we knew like Christmas gifting was coming. Black Friday wasn't really a thing yet. So we bought all this extra stock. I think we like 3x'd the stock that we had bought the first time because I was like, okay, I feel confident.
Yeah. Dave's like sweating in the back. He's
he's
like, oh my God.
God, this bitch. Still is.
Yeah, still is. He's like, oh my God.
And anyway, we like paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
Got a lot of stock. It was meant to arrive in October to then like be shipping in November for everyone to get for gifts.
And that first, sorry to interrupt you, that first investment was that personal savings.
Yeah.
Like, I think that now is another conversation where people are like, well, where'd you get the money? Like you do have to save your own money and you have to do it.
And you don't need to start big. I reckon I put aside like $2,500. I built the website myself. I did all my social myself. Yeah. I dedicated like $500 to having in our Meta ad account for retargeting and traffic. I spent probably like, $2,000 on stock. Yeah. And we paid one influencer who was like not really an influencer. It just was I'd worked in marketing, so I knew that worked. Yeah. But all up, it cost us like $2,500 to $5,000 to launch.
Amazing.
And then we bought the second run of products. And then all of a sudden, like the tracking just like dropped off. And I was like, that's kind of strange. And we lost 8 cartons of stock, like massive cartons of stock. And I was like, fuck, like all these people have like ordered it for gifts and it was on pre-order. And I was like, there's no amount of text on screen, whether it's email, social post, that can express how deeply sorry I am.
Gives me goosebumps because we've all been there and you just want to like.
It's sickening.
Sickening.
And I just remember saying to Dave, like, we're a brand new brand. This is like a pivotal moment to either show up and show my face and show how deeply sorry I am and that it's a real person and a real brand and like what we're trying to create. So one day I just made this video and put it up on a story and it went crazy because people weren't showing their faces and also people weren't owning their fuck ups. Yes. Which people still don't do. And I think that's been like a really big thing for me. Anytime I make a mistake, I'm like, our customers are in it with me. They know what we're doing. So anyway, like I think that gave me the confidence to show my face. Yeah. And then we created this thing called Mask Monday where I would start every Monday. I would do my skincare and I'd answer questions. So they became really educated on the products. They knew what they wanted, how to use. And at the time, I'd started studying cosmetic chemistry because I knew I wanted to have skincare. I just needed to like dip my toes in.
Yeah.
And then I started formulating products. This is funny. So if anyone's looking at starting a skincare brand, it's quite hard to find incredible manufacturers who are like very transparent and very honest. There's so much like crazy shit that goes on with manufacturing. Yeah. And anyway, I kind of had known that. I was like, I could just make this in my kitchen, but also like doesn't feel legit.
Yes, true. Yes.
So I messaged every clay mask brand I'd ever seen. Wow. I Google searched. Yeah. And there was a beautiful couple down in Newcastle. They had a brand that had a clay mask, but they also had like a cleanser and lots of tea products and like internal beauty. Yeah. And I messaged him and I was like, look, I know you sell clay masks. Can you help me make mine? Yeah. And he was like, this is so weird. Nobody does this. And I was like, well,
here I am.
Yeah. And then I just got on the phone with him and we just built such a beautiful relationship. And
I love that.
Like always, I'm such a relationship first person in business. Yeah. And together with him, we created quite a lot of products. Like I would formulate them, make the recipe, share it with him. And he would like kind of commercialize it, like make it viable, because it's all well and good for me to find these wild Asian herbs somewhere. Yeah. But like to be able to source it on a big level and stabilize it is a whole nother journey.
Absolutely.
So he was our first manufacturer and we worked with him for the first like 5 years.
Okay.
And then we just kind of outgrew working with him, which was like a really stressful period to then go back to this whole new process of finding a new manufacturer.
Especially in skincare.
Especially in skincare. Yeah. So that's kind of how we started.
I love this so much. I want to know, I know you had a marketing background, so I know you had knowledge in specific areas. But like we said, there's so many things that you've just said in that I want to come back on. But the main thing is that skincare is one of the hardest. Like if you ask anyone in any business, if you're starting skincare, like you know you're in for it with marketing. Yeah. Because it's so much more difficult. Especially in the in the landscape today, you know, it isn't like a piece of jewelry. It isn't like something that you're wearing that everyone's going to ask, you know. Obviously, people will comment on skin completely, but it's a different way. I know that marketing has changed now, but if you were to start again, right, you were to go back to the landscape and, I don't know, you were doing a whole new skincare brand now, other than you showing up and starting to do your Mask Mondays and everything like that comparison to now, what do you think works and doesn't work?
I think founder-led content and like sharing your story and why you're passionate about what you do, and also like your authority, which is something we've talked about lots in the past, is like I am a leader in this space 100. And I don't need to hide behind that. Like the more I show it and the more I educate my customers, the more like it's just magnetic. Like so many even skincare business owners will come to me and be like, can you help me? And I'm like, you should understand the skin, but they don't. It's just like a really fun brand to have. And I'm like, you can't, this is why so many people have bad skin, is because they're just buying into the hype. I think like it doesn't have to be founder led. If you can get your chemist, like whoever, to be educating is so important. It just cuts through the shit. Yeah. And also like whenever we bring a new product to market now, we give it to our top 100 customers. Yeah. We let them try it. We get them to document their whole journey. Yeah. We have, once they've obviously, there's never been a product that hasn't been accepted.
Of course.
But they've loved the journey. We have all these videos for like a 3-month window where they've said the first time they're using it. Every week they're updating their skin, telling me their feedback. Yeah. So we did it. The first product we did it with was our mineral BB cream. Yeah. Which is an amazing product to market because there is a visible change in the skin like straight away. But anyway, that was the journey. I showed the whole process, like 2 years of development, like almost every week being like, here's a sample, or like making it. I'd show them how I'd make it. And I took them on this whole journey of like inviting them into the business and creating a product with me instead of being like, oh, on Tuesday I'm launching a surprise product. Here it is.
And here's a small carousel about how we've done it. Like, no, like they want to feel connected.
They want to feel connected. And that was not my plan. Like I just naturally was showing up every day and I was like, well, I'm going to talk about what I'm doing. So anyway, that product, like, 2 months of development, 2 years of development, sharing pretty much an update every single week, gave it to 100 customers. We had all these before and afters. Yeah. And I also created like the product page and had them all share their review before we launched. So I did like a preview page. I don't know where this shit comes from sometimes.
Did you, like, I want to know about in terms of that. Like, I think people are so scared to reach out to customers they've already got, right? And I think it can be nerve-wracking because, you might have one or two that aren't happy or that don't like or that don't have a positive feedback. But I think it's so underrated, like reaching out and saying, hey, can you trial this product or this piece of jewelry or this or whatever and tell us your thoughts if you're comfortable. Like it's free.
And it also comes back down to like your integrity as a human being. Like I would never put something in market that I didn't truly believe that couldn't be bettered.
Yes.
And I think so often brands don't do that. So they would be scared to give it to their customers because people would be like, that's shit, I don't want to use it.
Yeah.
So like really owning it as your job as creative director, like whoever you are in your company that's creating the products, like really sitting with yourself every single time you're doing something and being like, am I creating something extremely unique? And is it the best quality that I can ever bring to market?
Absolutely.
And when you know, hands down, yes, you're not going to be afraid to share it with anyone.
There's no issues.
And you're not even afraid to like, I remember sharing the process of the BB cream being formulated and I had so many people be like, aren't you worried someone's going to copy you? And I was like, no one can make it like this. So
no one can make it
go
like
ahead, have a crack.
100%. I feel like people will, and like even I am like, yes, that's it. And then sometimes like when I get copied or something, I'm like, oh God.
It sucks.
But I do think it's really important. Like if you are so confident about your product, nothing compares. Do you know what I mean? And I think also every single thing that we've said in this conversation today comes down to human connection. The most underrated thing, like DMs, talking to your customer. Like I know you still talk to all of your customers,
100%. And
you've been doing this for years and people underestimate it so much and get too big for their boots. It's like.
And I think when we hired our first content girl, social media girl, it wasn't like I felt above the job, but I was like, fuck, I've got so much shit to do. You do everything. You do the stories, you do like all the education, whatever. And I would just do Mask Monday and she did everything else. She'd do the DMs, all the things. Yeah. And then we would have customers privately messaging me on my personal page, which I don't have a personal page. They just somehow find me. Yeah. And be like, she's amazing, but she's not you.
Yeah. And we are why you bought in.
I'm not interested in what she has to say. So then anyway, I had my first baby and it was really time consuming. Yeah. And I started just voice messaging. And at the time it wasn't really normal to voice message. Yeah. And it just landed so differently. And for a brand new customer reaching out, like it takes a lot to ask a brand for help.
100%.
And if someone would message and be like, I'm not sure which serum is right for me, I'd jump on, I'd do a voice message. I'd be like, hi, it's Katie. Like, I hope you don't mind a voice message. I'd always probably have the kids yapping in the back. And it was just very natural and organic. And people were just like, this is fucking amazing. Yeah. And that's why we have such like a cult community because they're not customers. Like the amount of customers that come in and pick up their orders and they know that Lolita's 10 months old and they know that Dave's doing this and like they know our life and they're involved in it. And that's what like creates, we're all craving that community. And I think brands that can't see the value in inviting their customers into their community instead of paying for ads or instead of paying for influencer events, like if you're investing in your community, like
you'll last a lifetime.
And
I think it's just, I get a lot of people come back to me and say like, I don't want to show up online or I don't want to or I don't feel comfortable. And I'm just like, well,
that's okay. On you.
And I find it difficult because like even my absolute best friend in the world, she's just started a brand. She's like, I don't like it. I'm like, okay, well, I don't know what to tell you because I did it this way and it worked really well. So you can only lead a horse to water. And I think people forget the impact of like, no one cares what you're selling. They care who you are. They want to feel like they're involved with something. They want to know. And I think skincare is 10 times more in depth too because it's improved their skin. They have like a story. They want to share that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's a whole different world.
Yeah, and I think I often like in the little bits of like when I talk on panels or do mentoring with women, like that's probably the number one thing is like I don't want to show my face. I don't want to educate. And I just think like I totally respect that because I never wanted to do that either. Yeah. And as a mum, like there's definitely days where I don't want to do my fucking skincare on the internet.
Oh God, no, I agree.
But I think like if you're so set on that not being your option, hire someone straight away. Make them the face of the brand. Give them equity in your brand. Yeah. You can create what you like behind the scenes. Yeah. But you have to. I just think people aren't like you have to be face forward.
I think people forget as well. This is why in this day and age you hire someone for your social media. Like, and I've had this conversation on this podcast before. This is why people become loved. And this is why smaller content creators become big because that is the recipe. is having someone who's passionate about what you do and then they grow personally. So it's like, if you can move past that, put your face as the face of your brand. It's going to allow it to grow. It's going to allow trust. There's like endless possibilities if you're willing to like push past the uncomfortability of having your face in content.
100%. And I think it is just that. It comes down to like that uncomfortable feeling. And to be honest, like you and I both know, like how many times do opportunities come that make you really fucking uncomfortable? And on the other side of that is like the biggest personal growth, whether it's talking on a panel, doing a podcast, going live. Like we all know that there's a barrier, and once you step over that, you just become so much more magnetic to what
100.
you're creating. And I think that's like, yes, it's okay to say you don't want to be on camera, but that's like the 1% of the confidence and the getting out of your comfort zone
that comes with it.
You're just putting like a little barrier around yourself, and you're probably not going to see growth in other areas either.
No. I feel like for you, one thing I really like, Katie is the most organized. Like you have the structure. I've like never seen anyone with structure like it ever. And I think like I have learned so much off you. I want to just touch on first that you're a mum. So I think this day and age, so many conversations with women about having children, coming back to work, procedures, structures, all that kind of stuff. You have your two beautiful babies, Louie and Lolita. When you went off with Louie particularly, how was that process? What did you put in place? How did that look? And, you know, then when you went off with Lolita, what did you learn and what did you decide and everything? Like, tell us the goss so we can absorb it.
I think the most important thing you can do is if you notice yourself doing a task more than once, automate it.
Yeah.
Whether that is like we use Gmail for our customer service and internal emails. We have so many templates for any question that comes through.
That has saved my brand also, guys. Katie taught me that.
Whether it's like a customer service question that you get asked often, wholesale inquiries, like think about the emails that come through more than once, create a template, put it in your G Drive. Number one, it makes you more efficient or your team.
Yeah.
But number two, it protects your brand integrity. Yeah. So anytime you're hiring people, they're always going to be speaking the way that you want them to speak. Yes. And your customer gets the service, which I think is so important. Like customer service is one of the first things that we often give away as like business owners. And then sometimes it can be really detrimental because the right person or the hire might not be the right person. They might not care enough. They might not understand the product enough and they don't want to ask the questions.
Yes.
So I did that from like the very beginning.
Yeah.
And then we used to use a program called Asana, which is an amazing like business operating management tool. But we moved to something more visual because I'm a very visual person called Millie.Note. And essentially you just have these boards and inside the board is like everything. Like I could give that board to someone today and they could run Sabbia without me.
Insane.
Which I just did.
Literally. And you should, I feel like saying it's a board is like an understatement. It's like,
oh, it's like a web.
Yeah, it's like a web. So I feel like when you go on there, you can have your entire business. Like I'm still learning it because Katie has showed me it for Kaarme and we've been implementing it. And one thing I just want to quickly go back to is the templates in Gmail. It gives your staff autonomy. Also, if you're giving someone else that role, they're going to come to you and ask you like, hey, what would you do here? What would you do here? What would you do?
And then it takes your time
because they need to, then it takes your time. Whereas if you give them that autonomy and they're like, okay, these templates are already in here on how Millie or Katie would respond.
Yeah. Yeah,
they can tweak it a little bit, but it's like they don't have to ask you a million times and they have the confidence. Like we're giving everyone confidence to be autonomous in their job.
And and then we also did that on social media, like on Instagram, you can have like saved DMs. You can also have like automatic questions that, so for us, if someone has dry skin, like if you go to message Sabbia Co, I think it says like, I don't know, whatever the question is.
It's like a little pop-up of like the few questions you might have to ask.
Yeah, and it's like, it's immediately helping the customer because we often get customer service questions from 5 p.m. till 10 p.m. and no one's working then. And you miss that window of like servicing your community or your customer or your potential customer, and they can kind of figure it out. And then by the time 8 a.m. rolls around and the team's on board, it's kind of like...
They probably already converted.
They probably already bought the product. So I think automation is like something that I've always done well, creating those systems internally where, you know, if there's something that's happening more than once,
Where did you learn it? Or did you just always... is that part of your brain? Because I feel like it's not a part of my brain.
I think my dad is like a very analytical, like, and I guess we're very similar people. I think I'm a very big perfectionist, and when I like crafted anything in Sub, every single thing I do is like perfect, and I really think about the consumers.
It is
process and like how they're going to feel and I think when I was doing that, I noticed like in the first like few months, I was like, fuck, I'm writing heaps about how to use a cognac sponge.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't have time for this. I have to pack like 100 orders.
Yeah.
So I just started doing it. It was just like a natural, like.
It was more out of a place of a need, really.
I needed it.
Yeah.
And then I knew we got married and I knew I wanted to have a baby straight away.
Yes.
So I was like, okay, I don't want anyone to talk to me when I have my baby.
Yes.
How can I create systems that make my team feel really confident? Like in our packing tables, like there's photos of the process and like how it should look in the box, because customer journey and experience is like so important.
Absolutely.
I want them to open the box and have that wow moment. So all of those little things like I did along the way, and then now it's just become like even my team do it now.
Yeah.
Like they're like, I'm doing this heaps, so I just made this process. I'm like,
that is incredible.
But yeah.
Because I feel like that is one thing that you're not taught. And I have become, like I have done this where I've hired to fill a spot when after speaking to you and you going, like, I've been like, I probably
you didn't need that.
And I think if I would have had your brain when Kaarme was first taking off, oh my God.
Yeah. And like how many times do you even rush through things because you're like, I just need to get it done. Whereas like we can, on the days that if like one of the team members sick and I jump in, do customer service, it's like 50 emails done in like 20 minutes max. And these are like skin consultations. Like they're not just like, where's my order things. No. Like they're in-depth things. It's so quick. And then I think like my team gets to be more efficient in other areas. So that was kind of like a process of like I needed it. And then I started building upon it because I knew it worked and I knew I wanted to step away to have my baby.
Yeah.
When we hired this position to step away to have my first, I really wanted someone who could show up on socials because I didn't know how I would feel postpartum. And also like I don't think I feel that way anymore, but at the time I was very self-conscious of being like, well, I know I'm not going to sleep, so I'm probably going to look like shit and I don't want my face all over the internet.
Of course.
So that was like the biggest hire that I wanted.
And it's more like you're going through such a sacred time as well.
You don't want to be inviting people into it.
Yeah, I completely agree.
But anyway, that's when we had all the customers message me and be like, no.
Where are you? Come back even if you're sleep deprived. We want you.
And then I remember one morning, like Louis would have been like 3 months old, and I just hopped on and I'd figured out the collagen C also doubled as an under eye treatment. And I just like genuinely hopped on with one eye with it and 1 hour without. And I was like, oh my God. It was the first time I'd shown my face after having the baby. And it just like showed me that was one area I could never give away. Yeah. Like stories is just something I can never give away. And I'm so okay with that now.
So okay.
Some days I'm like, fuck, like I don't get to it. And I know that's like, I'm working on it. But yeah, in that first year of Louis being here, he came to work with me every day.
Yes.
It was like, challenging. I'm not going to lie. We were a smaller brand than what we are now.
Yeah.
It was, I just made it fucking work. You can do anything with a stand-up desk and a carrier. And I say this all the time, like to our friend who's about to have a baby. And it is scary. You don't know what, like it's your livelihood. But I think so often, like.
And Dave was still working.
Dave was working full-time.
Yeah.
And like sometimes even Saturdays.
Yeah.
Like working like in New South Wales.
Yeah,
like
massive
he'd leave
hours.
at 4 a.m., get home at like 5 p.m. Like I didn't have any help. I was just doing it. And I think when I talk about like motherhood and resilience and business and resilience, I don't mean to be insensitive, but I think we subscribe to the story of like, you get to just suffer in your jocks and like whinge about it. Yeah. And I'm not that type of person. There's definitely days where I'm like, oof,
this is hard.
I'm not having a good time right now. Yeah. But instead of like letting my energy get lower and lower and lower, I'll have a swim in the ocean, I'll journal, I'll call myself out on my bullshit, I'll ring one of my friends, and I immediately like nip it in the bud. And I think that's what has allowed me to grow a business as a mother, because it is like there's days. It's fucking hard.
Oh my God, of course there is.
You don't know if your baby's going to be sick and you can't send them to kindy and you had a lot of stuff you needed to do that day. But I think like your mindset and really knowing what helps you and what hinders you is like so important as a business owner, but then to as a woman trying to have a family and run your business, because you can't come home and have that type of energy around your children because they all spiral. Like if you walk home with shit energy.
If the queen spirals, the whole hive's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well burn it down.
Yeah, you might as well burn it down.
So I think I've gotten really like, I'm very good at understanding that. And I'm very good at knowing even with my team and things like that, like having those processes. And then through that experience of like grinding my fucking ass off to like.
Because I think that is something that people underestimate about you. Like, I think because you do hold yourself as such, like you're very, very rarely ever whinging. Like, and you very rarely have low days in terms of like the way you speak. Like, I'll be like, oh, I'm fucking. And like, I know you have those days, but you hold yourself so well.
Yeah.
So I think I didn't know you when you had Louis, but I could just imagine that a lot of people wouldn't have seen that side. I could imagine that you would have just been like, oh, good, like we're moving forward and we're getting on with it. And
we almost lost Sabbia. Like there was, I reckon he was like 6 to 9 months.
Yeah.
And I stopped taking a wage. Dave was working Saturdays. Like it was not a good picture. And I never showed up pretending it was a good picture.
Yeah.
But I also didn't really like subscribe to the story of like, woe was me. I was like, I remember saying to the universe one day, I was just getting into my universe things, and I was like, I fucking love what I'm doing and I know I'm making an impact. Like, why are you not helping me? Like,
why is this not working?
What is it? And I remember just saying, like, Dave and I had so many late night conversations in bed being like, should we just burn the warehouse down?
Yeah.
Get rid of everything, go get a job, put Louis in daycare, or just be a stay-at-home mum.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, really getting close to thinking that was what we were going to do. Yeah. And I said to the universe that night, like, just give me a sign.
Yeah.
Like, tell me which way to go because I'm happy to go either way, but you better fucking support me on whichever way I'm going. And we woke up to, like, 50 DMs of women just being like, I just got my Sabbia order, like, cannot tell you how confident I am in my skin, like so many beautiful messages. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I got Louis into daycare 1 day a week and I fucking hustled that day.
Yeah.
I hustled my little booty off. I packed every order. We didn't have any staff. Like I refined everything back.
Yeah.
Did like a shared warehouse with one of my best friends.
Wow.
Scaled it all back. I started showing up more online. I started sharing that. I was like, we're moving to a smaller warehouse because this has happened. And I shared with my community why we were doing things, and it just gave Sabbia
connection.
And when I talked about at the start, like breaking down to like build that foundation.
Yeah.
We went from 1 square meter to like 1 million square meters in that breakdown. And then, you know, the years passed and I've just had Lolita. I just had like 10 months off work.
Yes.
Not one single meeting, not one single fucking nothing. I didn't have to do anything. Dave also is retired.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like calling him retired.
He's not retired, but I feel like what you built was able to retire him. Like that's fucking amazing.
And he just gets to do, and like I felt at the start of last year when I was like, I think we can do this. I think you should quit your job and you should be at home for our second baby.
Absolutely.
He was like, he's such a money person. He was like, I don't think.
He's a provider.
Yeah, he's a provider. He's not like focused on making money. He was like, that seems silly.
Yeah.
And I was like, just trust me on this. And I just felt such a sense of wanting to give back to him because he worked his ass off. And like every day he's probably going to work being like, this fucking bitch in her skincare. Not making me any money. And I'm having to bloody work 5 to 7 days a week. And anyway, I remember promising to him that this phase would happen and it did. And Sabbia has just continued to grow because we had those right foundations. Anyone that we hire can step into their role and they know what to do. It doesn't mean that I have to be there holding their hand, teaching them the principles.
She's got a Milanote, guys. And honestly,
log you in.
Every single person needs to get onto Milanote after this.
It's
if I don't have a million
good.
DMs, I'm going to be fuming about it.
Yeah, I'll do a little tutorial.
You should. It's insane.
And you can just have like everything so spread out. You can invite certain members to certain boards.
Yes, that's what I like.
Like
that's what I
specific
like.
for them.
Yeah, so you feel like you have control over who's got access to what and when and everything.
Yeah.
I feel like you're such, and I know that I say this to you all the time, and inspiration seems like a bit of a wooey word, but you are a figure for women to look up to. Because I think I'm not scared of, not that I'm anywhere near having children, I'm not scared to do it and have kids, but I think there's a societal feeling that if we have kids or we have a business, it's one or the other.
Yeah.
And that is the way that the world goes on and on and on, right? Which I don't subscribe to at all, but I also know it's not going to be easy. So I also know the two sides of it is like, you can do it, absolutely, but it is, you got to hustle. You got to do both sides.
And also it's so in your face. Like I remember saying to our accountant that I was pregnant with Louis, and he was like, oh, well, that's fucking stupid. Like you're in a growth period. Why would you do that? And I was like, because my heart has been craving to be a mother my whole life, and now this moment has come and you're making me feel bad about it.
Yeah, and just like, shut up, Stephen.
Yeah. Chad. Worse.
Lucky it wasn't Josh.
Yeah, but I really do believe, like, you can do it all, and I'm not going to lie and say that it's easy, but the more that you put into like the preparation.
Yeah.
Like the second experience that I've had with Lolita has been like beautiful.
Oh, stunning.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, I want to just pivot a little bit and get a little bit cheeky. I feel like, I know that you don't consume as much as me because you have better phone boundaries, but I would love to know from your point of view if there's anyone out there at the moment in skincare, or there any things, actually, not anyone out there, any things you're seeing in marketing, any things that you're kind of like noticing that you're like, oh, I don't love that, or I love that, or I'm noticing this would work really well, that younger founders, whether they're in skincare or they're in like a different world, can take on to be like someone at your level is like admiring?
Yeah, absolutely. Number one, I feel like creating like inviting your community in, like sending them the samples, documenting that process, sharing it all as much as possible. Like, don't be afraid of someone copying what you're doing because you're sharing it.
Absolutely.
And then number two, like, I just literally saw a video from Marissa from the Lullaby Club.
Yeah, icon. We love
doing
Marissa.
Like a skit, and I had to stop and be like, it was fully set up like a reality show. Like, they were doing the thing, and then it would cut to her, and she was like sitting there being like, and so whatever. And I I actually consumed it, and I was like, I don't care about Coke Zero.
Yeah.
But I'm in on this.
Yeah.
So I think like how we can be having fun with our customers. Like, even if you sell skincare, and I think this is something I really struggled with at the start. I was like, oh, we can't, like Dave and I used to drink a whole bottle of wine and do Mask Monday because we were nervous to talk online. So we get a little bit drunk and we do our skincare.
Yeah.
And I think like we'd probably have one glass, but then we moved to one bottle, and someone said something one day and I was like, you know what? Skincare doesn't have to be serious. I'm not drunk formulating your skincare, but I can be drunk marketing it to you.
Yeah,
like,
come on now.
If it makes me like be myself and be funny and cheeky, it's okay. I don't do that anymore.
Oh,
but
I'm always having a beer in the warehouse afterwards, and I'm like, oh,
and humanizing your business, making it fun.
Yes, I agree.
Like I'm loving seeing, like, I think you can't go past talking about Rach from TBH and Booth.
I was just messaging her this morning. I was like, how did
can I have your whole team, please?
I know.
But it's fun. It's making like people are so invested. Like, if you're getting a new team member, instead of just being like, hi, this is Kylie, it's like, you know, the sneak peeks of like 2 weeks of like the shoes they're wearing or whatever, like introducing them.
Absolutely.
It's so much fun. It makes it like way more interesting because for us, we have got 10 skincare products. There's only so many fucking times I can talk about a cleanser.
Of course.
It's boring. And also our community, if they want to learn, they go to the website.
Absolutely.
They don't need
People
to see
aren't
that
on
on socials.
TikTok for like, you know, that much education. They're there to be like, have fun, to learn who you are, connect with you, build an interpersonal relationship, and then buy it from your brand.
Yeah. That's what I'm loving. And then what I'm absolutely hating, and it irritates me to my core, is like this unauthentic marketing. Like, oops, we accidentally let an email to the team slip to our whole database. Like, we saw a massive brand do that last year or this year. And I was just like, it is so obvious. You left the unsubscribe link in there. Like, but they went with it for the whole thing. They did stories about it. And I'm just like, this is so fucking disgusting. You're manipulating your customers.
Yeah. Do you feel like also with that, I feel like, do you think your customers are stupid?
That's what I mean.
That's what I get sometimes as well. I'm like, we're not silly.
No. And like those, like you see, I don't know, it's like the fake fighting kind. I'm just like, that's not it. Like when there's an option to be funny and like why are you not choosing that option?
Exactly.
So I feel like that for me is like a big ick. And like, manipulating your customers, like it's disgusting. They're gross. The people that have created your brand for you.
Absolutely. Like taking advantage of them.
Yeah.
I agree. And I just want to finish on 2 things. Firstly, I want to talk about, you were talking about copycats and all these kind of things. And we were talking about, you know, we've had conversations about Rhode coming in or all this stuff. I think in skincare, and I could be wrong, but I think any brand is consistency is going to get you miles further than massive peaks in the market. You know, a brand like Rhode or whatever, they're going to have their peaks, but they're always going to be they're a different world, you know? And I think like with Sabbia, like the foundations of what you have built, which you can literally see from where you've got in, is going to do 10 times more than like a majorly viral product that a celebrity is like endorsed or something like that.
Yeah. And also like as a, you know, we're a skincare consumer brand.
Yeah.
We have our subscription model set up and like.
Oh my God, yes. We should just quickly touch on this.
Yeah. It's been life-changing for the business. Like so crazy. Like I'm going to get really nerdy. But when we do a meta ad and a brand new customer orders, 23% of the time their second order is a subscription. Like 23%.
And that is high.
When are you ever using a new beauty product, supplement?
No.
That you 1 out of 4 times you repurchase it, but to the point where you're putting it on subscription. Like you're like, yeah.
And something I will say, and this is not me tooting your skincare's brand, because I've never had problematic skin, but I've never bought more than one skincare thing twice. And when I met Katie, I was like, oh yeah, I'll try Sabbia, blah, 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 blah. But it literally is one of the best skincare.
And your skin is just like, I can see
the compliments that I get. And obviously if I wasn't one of your good friends and I just buy it when I want, I would go and I wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah. And that's been like something I never, like that wasn't a strategy. It was just like a suggestion from our accountant. He was like,
do you use an app? How do you do that? What app is this?
We're currently using an app called Appstool.
Okay.
It's a little bit gritty. So we're moving to like a massive American one called Skio, which has so many automations. And like for the customer, like you could log in and be like, hey, Millie, you're up to your 3rd order. Sabbia's got a fun gift for you. And it's like a surprise free product.
Like a Mecca Beauty Loop.
Yeah, exactly. That we've like mimicked that for our community so that they can see what's coming. They're excited. It keeps like our retention rate high.
Yeah.
But that for us, like there can be days, you know, we all go through days in business where it's shit and it's good or whatever.
I was just thinking about this to Katie today. I was like, oh my Lord.
But I reckon day to day, like 50% of our orders are subscription.
That is
which is nuts.
Fucking phenomenal.
And to be scaling at like 200 to 300% a year, our subscriptions, I should know the stat, but it would be like 1,000%, like more than that.
And I think
to scale
that's the
a business
exciting
like
thing.
that.
Yeah, like your level of scale that's going to be year on year, even outside of your subscription, is
crazy.
Is fucking wild.
Yeah.
Especially for a skincare brand.
And I think that's like, it comes back to like, if you're bringing something to market, make sure it's fucking good. And then you don't need to struggle. Like you really.
I agree.
If it is good and you're a good person and you help your customer, it shouldn't be that hard.
It should not be that hard. I want to leave. I feel like we'll do way more of these because I feel like you have so much knowledge. It's in like so many nitty gritties. But I want to finish with one thing, and that is if you were to start again. I know everyone says like if you were to go back and you were to start all over again, what would you do? Blah, 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 blah. More like if you could see yourself now as a founder that was starting in 2026, for anyone that's listening, what would you do?
As in like a marketing strategy or a product?
Whatever that you're seeing out there. Like if you were to restart Sabbia now with the knowledge that you had from the very beginning, like do you have any like
I'm probably
going to
share something I shouldn't share.
Oh my God, we love.
If you take this idea, I'm allowing you.
Sneaky
but something
squirrel.
that I have been working on for like 3 years, but we just can't get the right formulator.
Yeah.
Is like a gut supplement, like a skin and gut supplement that's like a liquid drop. Why is it so hard to make? I don't know. But anyway, and you can fucking have that and thank me.
That is
but
phenomenal.
It's like, could you imagine? Like, I think when we're thinking about bringing things to market, everything has been done. Everything has been done.
Agree.
Now you need to think about like whether your uniqueness is your marketing or your packaging or the deliverability of a product. Like, I really think that you need to have some unique element that is so
100.
unique to you as an individual. Like Kaarme, you know what you're getting. You know you're not getting it anywhere else. Sabbia, you know what you're getting. You can't get that anywhere else.
No.
I think it's like creating that uniqueness that makes you you.
Yes.
And like even if you forget the brand name and you're talking about a product, people are like, oh yeah, that's what that is.
Yes, it's the connection when you're talking to someone else. I agree completely.
And then I think on the marketing side, like I would love to, if I was restarting, like I would be documenting the whole thing. I would be sending samples to my customers or to like whoever I could to like build this hype and this include people in the building of your brand. I think we like, you know why when, what's it called? Like Kickstarter, like when you like can buy in on a brand instead of like monetary for buying in. It's like
how we used to all be like, no, we can't tell anyone anything. So it's the opposite of that now.
Yeah.
It's like share it early,
like too early. And don't be afraid to like pivot and be like, oh, like, maybe that brand name was silly or maybe this was silly. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect to go to market. Like, Sabbia's first bottle that the skincare came in would make you die.
Oh, my God. The first piece of Kaarme, I honestly think, I don't know who got that, but I feel
Who did I think I was?
Who did I think I was? I want you to finish by telling us a bit about Sabbia. I feel like, A, the products, like, B, what you're doing. If you want to drop any, like, cheeky little things that maybe, like, you're doing as a business owner this year.
Oh, my God.
And then,
Well, we're about to do a massive rebrand, which is
and it looks so
exciting.
sexy.
I think the evolution is like me as a woman. Like I started in my early 20s. I'm now in my early 30s. I'm a mum. I'm so certain of who I am. And I feel like when Sabbia dipped its toes into the market, I wasn't certain of who I am.
Of course.
And now I am. And I feel like the brand is just at this level, like I know it's about to just go nuts.
It is.
And I feel like stepping back into the market with like a bit more personality. I think our branding is like, it's white, it's green. It's like to be expected for a clean brand.
Of course.
So anyway, we're going bold, we're going fun. That is super exciting. That will happen for our 7th birthday in September.
Yeah.
We are also, well, the brand itself, like we perform like cosmeceuticals. Like you can guarantee in the first 2 weeks of using products, you're going to feel different. You're going to look different. By week 4, people are going to ask you what you're doing with your skin.
Yeah.
But we do that with plant-derived ingredients. So there's nothing that will upset your skin barrier, your sensitivity, rosacea.
Yeah.
Also, obviously, being a woman and a mother who's been pregnant and breastfeeding, there's nothing in there that you can like use during pregnancy or breastfeeding.
Amazing.
And one of my biggest things is like you should treat your body like you're pregnant every day of the week. Like, why do we think it's okay to consume that shit when we're not pregnant?
Yeah.
So we've crafted like a really unique offering that is safe for your body.
Yeah.
It's safe for the planet, safe for your hormones, but it really works. Chris, our incredible formulator and chemist, is a dermal clinician. And he literally just got awarded number 4 in the world. So
That's
I'm telling you, the person that makes our skincare is like, I make the formula. Him and I argue for about 6 months about who's right. And then we settle on somewhere in between. And I just know it is the goddamn best skincare ever.
It is though. It literally is.
And it's refillable, which is so cool. We never talk about that. So like,
never talk about that.
when we started, it was obviously a big thing around sustainability.
Yeah.
We're always going to be sustainable, but sustainability doesn't sell. People don't give a shit. They want results.
And sustainability is also an ever-changing. It has to be somewhat easy for people to implement in their lives as well. And that, like, even my story I did on Saturday, I was like, oh, fuck, I've run out of my thing. And then I was like, oh, I've got my refill.
And how fun is it to use? You're just like,
so easy. I was like, oh, this is like perfect.
And that helps our retention rate, because why would you, if you liked the product and you see Road come to Australia, like, I don't give a shit because I got my Sabbia, it works, and I got my refills. It's easy.
I completely agree. So rebrand, we've got new things on the horizon.
We also just got a grant to launch into the US, which is nuts.
Yeah, oh my God, I have to do a whole podcast about this in the plan, because that is a whole new world.
I don't know how I feel about it.
Oh my God, and you've just hired a marketing manager.
Hired a marketing manager, new ads girl, new content girl. We're about to build a lab in our warehouse, which is really exciting.
Incredible.
So we have our cosmetic engineer and our cosmetic chemist down in Melbourne. We just literally ripped our warehouse to shreds, and then we've put all new racking to the ceiling, which is like so crazy. When I walk in there, I'm like, to think I started this in my spare bedroom and now we have like racking to the ceiling, like a team of, I don't even know, like 10 now.
Yeah,
like it's crazy.
It's insane. And I think also it's the moments where you're like, oh my God. And something I just wanted to say as well, you know, I think people will hear all this and be like, oh my God, like it's great. Like there's so much growth. It is, but it requires the money to do it, the mental resilience, and like to go through the stretch. So I think if you're at home, like, oh, my little brand is, you know, it gets 1 order a week. We've literally been there. And I think sometimes when I started this podcast, I'm like, I don't want it to feel like it's out of reach, you know, like you can literally do this.
And that's what I talk about so often. Like, you know, I've spoken in panels with room of women who own like massive companies.
Yes.
And it'll be like me as like the small founder, that person, and then like usually a celebrity or influencer owned brand. And when it comes to Q&As, I hands down get all the questions because it's attainable, and people are like, that's just a real girl that just showed up, kept going. I never once set out to be like, I want to grow 200% this year. Like, no. I just stayed in my lane. I've enjoyed what I'm doing. I think when you enjoy what you're doing, it just keeps coming in. You're a good person. You're showing up authentically. And it makes it so much more like enjoyable instead of being like,
people can feel it as well. It comes back to the feeling. Like if you're always scrounging and stickling and forcing, like,
and cutting corners,
cutting corners. It's just
not it. It's a no from me.
Well,
so it is absolutely attainable. Like I started
100
with $2,500. What, you were kind of similar? I
think I started with like I was actually $300.
Yeah,
a strand of beads and a dream
and a TikTok account.
And a TikTok account about nursing. It wasn't even about bloody my jewelry.
But it is, and I think it's so special to hear conversations like this from like real people just having a crack.
100%. Where can everyone find you, Sabbia and you? Because you post so much personal development stuff on your own, which I feel like if you're not following Katie, go follow. So I feel like it is very, very, very useful.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, it's someone that you can at least like message or like ask questions or absorb what you're speaking of. So where do we find you?
My personal brand is Katie E. Tingle, so 2 E's, on Instagram. And then Sabbia is Sabbiaco on Instagram. We're dipping our toes into TikTok this year.
We're dipping our toes into TikTok, yeah.
It's a love-hate relationship.
Yes.
But I mean, when I share things on my personal brand, it's like you can be inspired by low togs, by DIY, like beauty things.
Oh my
like
God,
I'm always
everything.
sharing like Asian baddie Chinese soup to help your skin glow.
Oh
like,
my God,
that's the
funniest
content.
video.
And
that's
my
what we want to
DMs
see.
are like always open for other women in business, like or boys. Like I don't care, but I just think it's so beautiful. And you've brought that to me. Like I think when I first started, people didn't make friends with each other in business.
Yeah,
we didn't share things. And I think I've been so grateful to just be like a kind, questionable person that I've got to build relationships along the way. And I just feel like it's like my duty of care to do that back.
I think it's just who you are as well.
Yeah.
I think anyone could ask
I'll bring you
anything.
over, cook your dinner.
Yeah, you will. It's the Italian. It's the Italian. She'll make you a fresh spag bowl with fresh pasta, bring you a bottle of chilled red, with no inflammatories, and she'll fix your business.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, Katie.
Thank you for
I love you.
having
And we'll
me.
do it again.
I
We'll
love
have
you.
to. If anyone has any questions for Katie and like wants us to do another podcast, DM us.
100%.
And we'll get it sorted. Okay.
Thank you.